Go.
Welcome to Mixed Signals, broadcasting from somewhere just beyond the edge of good judgment on the planet Florbus.
I'm Lynx.
And I'm Nox.
We're two alien cats trying to make sense of human news, strange ideas, and whatever else drifts through the cosmic static.
Every episode, we tune into these signals bouncing around your world, current events, weird stories, and the occasional thought that probably should have stayed in deep space.
So adjust your antenna, clear the interference, and settle in.
Because if the signal sounds a little mixed, you're probably listening to the right show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. We've got a couple of interesting things to go over today. Have you heard the news, Nox?
What news is that?
Well, you are familiar with that human female.
Finally by the planet.
You're familiar with that one human female, the one that's always getting herself into trouble. I guess she's real famous on that planet.
She's real famous, huh?
Yeah, some Spears, I think. Britney Spears.
Britney Spears. Yeah, okay, yeah. I know
Well,
Britney Spears.
turns out, I guess she got herself into a wee bit of trouble yesterday.
What was she doing?
Drinking and driving, apparently.
Babies out the window?
Babies out the window.
You know, like another celebrity.
I'm so confused.
Michael Jackson.
Did not know that he was doing that.
No, hanging. Sorry,
hanging. Oh, okay. That's
Sorry.
a little. It's a little different. Spitting babies out the window is what I heard. Oh my goodness.
Oh, spitting?
Yeah.
Yeah, my voice is so messed up.
It's all right. So we've got this little video here. All right, so we've got another interesting story that we'd like to cover here. It's a game that you and I have both had several different variations of experience with.
Oh?
Fable.
Oh, yeah, I love me some Fable. Played 1, 2, and 3.
Which one of those was your favorite?
People hate me for this, but favorite story-wise is 2, favorite gameplay-wise is 3.
Okay, so for me, it's favorite gameplay was 2, favorite story was 2.
And I completely understand why.
One of the things that was appealing to me was just how much more change your character went through in 2 than it went through in 3.
Yeah, I get that. I really like the sword building idea, because what ended up being in 3 sucked, but I like the idea of how you used your weapons, what they would turn into.
So I wish that they would have. I wish they would have done
weapons like in 2.
Right. I wish they'd gone a little bit more in depth with it. Maybe introduce different blade types, with different metal types, not just colors. So that way you could maybe potentially get a lighter blade for a faster swing, or a heavier blade, you deal more damage per hit, but you swing slower. That kind of stuff is neat. I forget
what the variation set is, but if I remember right, it was only like between like 10 different handles, 10 different swords, 10 different fits, which means it was very, very limited.
Yeah. Well,
and just like the corruption system, 2 and 1 were definitely better there, because in 3 it was only your shadow when you did like a heavy attack, or like, build up your magic power. That's about the only time you really saw your evil or goodness. Where in 1 and 2, to actually be physically on your body.
Right.
Horns or flies.
That was my favorite thing about 2, was the fact that your character would literally look evil, and the world would change around you with the choices that you made. And Fable 3 just didn't have that. Not nearly as much.
You know what? Bringing that up, you're absolutely correct about that, because in Fable 3, your choices, you don't have choices until the very end. Where in Fable 2, you had choices you could make that would completely change. And then when you go to Aspire in 2 and come back after years later, there was a lot of small changes that happened. And that was mid through the game. Where in Fable 3, any changes like that, big changes to towns and stuff, were something you had to make on the spot as a king, and you saw them at the end when pretty much you've done all the content.
Yeah, which really pretty
And it
much
really
lost any
didn't
incentive
add
to continue
new.
playing.
Yeah, it added some new side quests if I remember right, but that's about it. Just very few. Not
Well,
as good. The side quests are also not as good in 3 as they were in 2.
maybe they'll be able to get it right this time, because as it turns out, there is an upcoming Fable game.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this from Microsoft, right?
I reckon.
If I remember right, yeah, it's from Microsoft from Playground Games. Playground Games makes was that Horizon
Zero
game, a
Dawn?
racing game?
Oh,
No, they make that
oh,
a really good racing open world game.
I
I
know
think it's
which
called.
one. Is it the not Need for Speed?
It
It's
starts with an H.
Forza. Forza.
Forza. Okay, it starts with an F.
Yeah, it's Forza Horizon Motorsports. I love their
That's it for
games.
yep. They were given the green light to make their very first ever RPG, which is Fable.
Well, they've had good. They've got a good track record of delivering a good product.
I don't think the devs be the blame if this game is bad. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay. Well, let's give her a look. So far, it looks all right.
Let me start by saying that I am
Looks kind of
borderline
generic at the
blown
same time
away
too.
by
A little bit. But I think that's
kinda
what
like
happens when you start
standard
to.
fantasy.
Well, I think that's kind of what happens when you start to approach that photorealism. Everything's going to start to look like you're trying to make it look photorealistic.
And this is, you know me, this is why I prefer more cartoony or artistic styles when it comes to games, because games, you know, in my opinion, are just more. They should look more like games.
Yeah. That's the
Don't get me
one.
wrong. Some games, like The Last of Us, like the first Last of Us, yeah, it works when they're high def because of the story they're trying to persuade.
Yeah, if it all depends on the kind of game you're building. If you're trying to build a game that's primary function is gameplay, then don't sweat fidelity. But if you're trying to build a game that's gritty and immersive, then yeah, focus on fidelity. It just depends on what you're building.
It really does. You're right about that. I just hope they don't lose the British humor and comical, like hand size is different. You know, like the humans always been just slightly unique, like slightly bigger hands and slightly
Always
bigger
been
boots they wear.
caricatures.
And then the buildings themselves always look like Tim Burton's distorted, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas kind of buildings, which I love.
I don't know
Or
if this
Corpse
is
Bride.
perspective or not, but this building right here in the background looks like it kind of does that warping.
Yeah, and I was looking over at the building on the left-hand side. If you look at the barn roof, I mean, this can call it a barn. It looks like it's
curving right there and
yeah.
curving inward right here. So maybe
So
they
it does look like it's keeping some of that. I don't even know what to call that art style.
fantasy
Abstract. Maybe?
abstract, yeah.
what I've seen from the Fable reboot so far. New
I-
Fable developer
they're
Playground
calling it
Games
a reboot.
already had my trust.
Well, it don't look too bad.
To be fair, they actually could. A reboot makes sense because look what the Spiral did. The Spiral was regrowing Albion from the ground up.
That's
the
true.
idea. It reset the world. So we already know that kind of thing exists in the world. Who
Well,
just said it didn't happen?
That means that they can also just build the story on top of that.
I would, but 3 didn't end that way. But you could still base your story around that. I'm not sure if they're gonna follow the same lore or if they're doing it. They call it a reboot, so most likely everything's gonna change.
This is a studio that has produced nothing but one open world masterpiece after another.
Which that is true. They have done nothing but make hit after hit after hit.
That is true, and that model doesn't look too bad.
No.
Looks kind of male though.
I think that may just be a consequence of the A and B body type world that we live in now.
Yeah.
Big sad.
But, I mean, the model doesn't look too bad.
No, her face is cute.
I was just looking
But
at like
after
the model in
learning a
general.
lot-
Huh. Okay, so what do we got here? We got a mini map in the bottom left-hand corner.
Lot more.
Looks like our health bar in the middle, and it looks like we have 2 ultimates, maybe?
It looks like
See those two little dots? Those are something like chargeables. I guarantee it. Or those are dodges
Yeah, those have got to be dodges.
or parries, maybe.
Parries would probably be more likely, or wielding a sword. That would make sense.
And then, like, you were going over here to the spells. Looks like we got a fireball, a push, something with levitation, because that's used what feather means, or journal.
I don't know if
And
that's...
I can't make out the bottom. It looks like a pause button.
Kind of does, doesn't it? Like
And
you'd
then
pause
up
time,
at the
maybe?
Yeah, that was a Fable thing, yeah. And that looks more like arrows or
That's
something
what
you
I
can
was about to say.
throw.
That's your ranged weapon.
Yeah.
So he's
Okay.
got 4. Okay.
And he has
More
a
about
health
what
bar.
the
And looks like he
team
has a
has
break
in
bar,
store
too.
for its resurrection of one of Xbox's biggest franchises. I'm even
Well,
more bullish.
hang
about
on.
where-
All right, we get to play as a kid like you have in every Fable. Well, except for 3. Once again,
Yep,
3 was
again.
actually unique. You started as a teen.
This is
Right.
why I think 3 is actually the weakest game in the franchise. I wanted to go back
I
here a
never
little
said
bit.
it was the best. That's the one I have access to. I don't have a 360, so
Fair,
I can play
fair.
1 on my computer and I can play 3.
I want to look at this combat a little bit more. Whoa.
Okay.
What the heck? I pressed the space
What'd you
bar.
do?
I pressed space bar. That was my fault.
Ruined it.
After learning
looks like we have the
lot
break
more
bar, which
about
is the
what
white
team
bar.
has
Look how
You
much
won't
more
be able to
weighted that combat looks than a lot of games that have been coming out.
in store for its resurrection of one of Xbox's
You're not
biggest
lying. It actually looks
franchises,
way more
I'm
impactful.
even more
That's way impressive. I think I'll actually be quite satisfied if it reflects that same experience when it's in my
How
hands.
much you want to bet, Lynx? I won't be able to play this game. My computer would be too much of a turd.
Big sad. You're probably right.
Fable's one of my favorites.
I know. Well, you might be able to play it, but you would have to run it in potato mode.
Maybe, yeah, if I can run it. What is this, Briar Hill?
Briar Hill, yep. The Rose Thorn Tavern, I assume?
bullish about where they're going with it. Playground has turned the Forza Tech engine
I mean,
into
okay,
a
that does look
medieval
unique.
British
It looks like something out of the
postcard.
story.
Combat
book.
is
Oh,
They
that
kept-
was a nice pause.
Yeah, it was. They kept the nameplates from the previous, from 3. They changed the
glad.
colors,
I
but they
like
kept the
that.
nameplates.
I'm really curious what these yellow dots are. Those
Yeah.
happy dodges or something. 'Cause
So,
now we have 4.
well, we just learned one thing. The down button is the lightning shock thing. And he didn't consume one of these charges when he did that. So
So
either...
that's not magic.
maybe it's something else then. I don't know what that is.
multi-layered. 1,000 NPC townsfolk are waiting to be romanced,
Yep, romance has always been part of the Fable franchises, including gay.
Absolutely
So-
essential. You
So
cannot
if
not have
if
these.
there's a reviewer out there starts bitching about because there's gay in it, no, that's always been the Fable. I can confirm that since 1. I remember having a husband in 1, for example, so I know for a fact.
Valid. No, I think it's a good
If you
thing.
could,
It's a good
when I
thing.
got
I
Fable,
think
you could see it's
that's
like, huh.
I think that there's a thing that you shouldn't push people to it. It should just be possible.
100%. Nope. I'm one of those weird people that believe like you should have those options in the game. That you should not be pushed or forced into them like romantic themes, but they should be in the game.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, I'm glad to see that there are 1,000 NPCs. 1,000? That's
I know
a
that's
lot of
on
dialogue.
screen. And it looks like we're getting. I think we'll be able to adopt a kid, kind of like in 3, or have kids like in 3.
Maybe.
with, divorced from, and landlorded over.
Divorcing was part of
there
3
are
and 2.
chicken
Oh. No, I think it's more than that. I think he just said that we'll be able to have kids.
1,000 NPC townsfolk are waiting to be romanced, co-parented with,
Co-parented with.
Divorced.
Divorced from.
and landlorded over.
Yep, I've done that before.
That's one of my favorite things. I love
Get
being
married,
the...
stick them in a house, and sell them, or increase the rent to the outrageous.
Yep.
And give them like nothing.
I always increase the rent to as much as I can without getting them to move out.
What I hope they keep from Fable 3 is you can marry the second player if there's co-op.
Aww.
because in Fable 3 you could do that, where in Fable 2 the only multiplayer we had it was just a henchman, and the only thing you were able to carry over from that account was just the gold and I think experience that your henchman earned.
I think I'm going to turn this down just a wee bit more. He is so loud.
There are chickens abound just waiting to be kicked.
Oh yeah, chicken
Yay!
kicking.
Chicken kicking! You gotta have the chicken kicking.
Gots to have it. You're right about that. Otherwise, it's not Fable. Chicken chaser.
Chicken chaser!
Alongside Fable's big coming out party at the
nice.
recent Xbox
That's a
Developer
big
Direct.
step up from something they've ever done before. Okay,
It kind of reminds me a little bit of kind of like a Witcher.
I was about to say, look at this image here. This is an absolutely stunning scene.
It really is. And I kind of like, if you look at the horse, it's like they're going full realism, but at the same time, kind of artsy at the same time.
It does look a bit stylized.
It looks like a
look at the
mix
leaves.
between.
The
That's
leaves.
what I mean. It looks a mix between realistic and stylized, kind of like clay, I guess.
I also spoke with
Which I
game
like.
director Ralph Fulton about the choices the studio has
That's actually
Yeah, that looks
really
Fable-y.
good.
made
I hate
with
to
this
say that, actually
revival,
kinda looks like
so
Fable.
there's lots to discuss.
Oh
I love
wow!
the giant tomatoes, actually.
The
They look
pumpkin.
tomatoes, right?
I think
Oh, I
those.
didn't even notice the big pumpkin.
That is incredible.
Please tell me
Boogie
that
off.
they didn't take away Hobbs. I loved killing Hobbs.
Boogie off.
Fuck off. Boogie off.
I think that's literally what that says.
But first,
Go
if you'll
fudge
permit
yourself.
me, a quick Fable history lesson.
Oh, we're getting a history lesson.
Right out of the
That's
gate
Fable
in the
remastered.
early 2000s, Fable was always fantastic, even if its early days
Mhm.
on the original Xbox got a little extra scrutiny because its director at the time, legendary strategy game developer
Peter
Peter
Molyneux.
Molyneux, made
Peter Molyneux.
I know that guy. Yeah, I
Ah,
Fable's Lion Gate's one of my actually favorite
you'll be able to
companies, even
plant a
though
tree and watch it grow.
he reminds me of the No Man's Guy.
He
guy,
does.
except,
Will you buy my game?
Sean actually, I think his name's Sean or Sheen. He
It's
actually
Sean.
redeemed himself. Where Peter Molyneux never kept updating Fable to actually give you that. There's
Yeah.
a difference.
Yeah, I have to give No Man's Sky credit. I like to shit on them because it's not a high
Oh, God,
fidelity
especially
space
back in the
game.
day.
Oh yeah, especially back in the day. But I
You
will
buy
give
my
them
game?
credit.
Then yes.
It didn't even launch with multiplayer. Oh, it has multiplayer. It's got multiplayer. You can play with your friends. It didn't have multiplayer.
How many universe? Will it have 10,000 universes? Well, will you buy my game if it does? Yes, then
That's
yes.
right. That's right. Oh man.
crazy
Please
promises
tell me
about
Jack of
players
Blades will
planting
be the at
acorns
least
that would grow
a
into
part of
full-size
the main story.
Right?
trees over the course of the campaign. But while that lofty systemic boast never came to be, the game that Lionhead delivered was nevertheless a rich, textured, uniquely brilliant.
That's a memorable character right there.
I love this game.
It's such a
Something
good
about
game.
Fable always just had that, like, the character design, atmosphere.
It had the right amount of whimsy.
Yeah, it kind of felt like always felt like a high fantasy kind of meets dark fantasy with the humor.
Yeah, not quite grimdark, but not quite comic relief. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and it's not like the comedy is, well, English comedy, so it's kind of dry, so you
Yeah.
have to get it, but it's not for everybody. But man, did I ever love it.
I love me some dry wit.
Yeah, me too. I loved how your character always aged. The only thing that always made me mad is you would marry somebody and you would be old as crap and they would still be young. But I'm the only one in the whole world that ages.
Yep, just you. You gotta
It
get old
is,
and die.
Fable
That's why
1,
you're the hero.
literally the only one that ages. You're the only one with saggy skin, gets old, and everybody else is walking around still looking just as young as a spring chicken.
Instead of Benjamin Button aging, you got advanced aging.
Yep, and everybody else has immortality. That's why you're the hero.
That's freaking screwed. Your life is one that I am willing to sacrifice in order to ensure that I will survive.
Mm.
Oh, that's great.
British fairy
All right.
tale that players could meaningfully affect change in.
Yes,
Whether they're good
the affecting change. Meaningfully affecting change is the most important part of Fable. If you can't affect change,
Yes.
don't make a Fable game.
That's what Molotov was always on about with the freaking, like you said, acorn. You can plant a tree, come back later and carve your name, and it'll still be there. Ooh, never.
Deeds manifested a
Oh,
literal
Lord.
halo over their heads.
Oh,
Their
gosh.
And I hope
sheer
they have an arena.
evil
Love
caused
arena in
actual
games.
horns to sprout from their skull.
Honestly,
or they
yeah.
got ma-
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing the little repeatable arenas that you could do in 3. Those were all right.
I'm one of those, when it comes to video games, I'm one of those suckers for repeatable content, but I like repeatable content that makes sense. Kind of like Fallout 4, right? Do not really enjoy the repeatable, go to a settlement, or, you go to one of your factions, like I was going to say Dark Brotherhood. It's wrong one. But
There's a settlement in need of your help.
Brotherhood is
I've marked it on your map.
Garvey, you know where you stick that hat and that laser gun?
Oh, I'm gonna get that on a soundboard, and I'm just gonna play that occasionally just to piss Nox off.
Oh, you would too.
I
Ooh,
would.
see. I'm gonna Forbis you one day. Forbis.
married to a townsperson and lived a whole other life outside of the bigger picture quest within the world of Albion. Lionhead arguably perfected the formula in the Xbox 360 sequel, adding a dog who'd be by your side throughout
Da pupper.
I did enjoy the animals.
You got to
Especially
have
when
da
you were able to get
pupper,
the potions.
right?
the story.
Did you
and
ever
Fable
play the DLC for 2 where you were able to go to an island where you could change the weather?
I
always
only-
thought 3 was going to have that feature.
I only got
Never
to
came.
play the base game for 2.
That's sad.
Even with that, it's still my favorite of the 3 Fable games.
Oh no, like, yeah, you're right. 3 just has some things, and once again, like I said, biased because it's one of the games I actually have on my computer.
There's
If you're lucky enough to
absolutely,
still have it on your computer, I should say.
I think I still got it somewhere.
Yeah, right, but I mean, you cannot buy Fable 3 anywhere. that I
No.
know of.
No.
Not for PC anymore. For 360 and stuff, sure, but if you have it on PC, you're lucky to have it.
They're obtained through less than legitimate methods.
I do not wear an eye patch. Take that back, Lynn.
You may not wear an eye patch, but you can't hide that peg leg from me.
Yeah. Was it stick it in your back again? Oh.
That's right.
3 tweaked it further still while making the questionable in hindsight decision to move the timeline forward.
I also really
by
like the art
500
style of
years,
3. I'm biased there.
Yeah.
thereby changing
And where could you get spectacles? I've played the entire game. I've never had spectacles in 3.
I think I had spectacles. I just never wore them because there were other nicer hats.
You know me, I usually don't wear hats or helmets, or I wear my hair.
Fair.
I'm a vain bastard.
the entire look and feel of Albion. And then Microsoft, well, they royally screwed the franchise up by trying to turn it into a 4v1 multiplayer.
Hold up, pause, wait a minute. Okay, now, before rewind, what did he say before I put words in his mouth? About what happened to Fable. Yeah, about right there.
Right there.
Of Albion. And then Microsoft, well, they royally screwed the franchise up by trying to turn it into a 4v1 multiplayer game.
Yeah, hold on right here. If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, people come up to me in the comment sections probably. EA bought Lionhead, and they were told by EA to make, or maybe, no, they sold themselves to Microsoft. That's right. Microsoft told them to make the 4v4 game. They wanted to make Fable 4, and you can find stuff about it. Fable 4 was supposed to be a really highly dark fantasy game. It was supposed to be kind of focused on a more mature story and more mature Albion, and go back to the swords.
I just think that 4v1.
This hero shooter, I hate to say it, this would have worked.
Really?
You would have 4
That cost
heroes,
the
right?
studio its
Okay.
You would have 4 heroes. You would pick from Fable characters, so they're whimsical, and then the 5th character will be the dungeon master, the evil guy you fight at the end, that could also put up booby traps as you traverse through. Doesn't sound novelty right now, but back in 2010, I think it was, when they were working on it, it would have been pretty cool.
So
Basically, you would have a dungeon master and then 4 people fighting.
Basically, Dead Before Daylight before Dead Before Daylight,
Yeah.
or Dead by Daylight, whatever
Oh
it's
yeah,
called.
Dead for Day. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, kind of like the monster character. Yeah, except you're building and putting down traps. And then I
Interesting.
think you're the end boss. You have to fight.
Entire
It would have been
existence.
interesting, in my opinion.
Is that one of the
Sorry.
end bosses that I'm looking at right there in the background?
If I remember right, this is actually from Fable 4, where you play the Dungeons and Dragons campaign for the 4 weird people.
That doesn't sound very fun.
It actually was interesting. They had some good side quests.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day, and since then, the franchise has been dormant for over a decade.
No, okay, Lynx. That was from Fable 3. Apparently, we're going to a miniature game in that one as well. Interesting.
Enter Playground, who produced smash hit after smash hit in Microsoft's Forza Horizon driving series. Fulton told me that Playground was looking to expand and build a second team after Forza Horizon 3. Quote, I don't remember who said the word Fable first, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, that has to be it. That fits so perfectly. It's a series that we adored here and still do.
That
Beautiful.
does
So
give
they
me...
chose the game.
Yeah, that gives me a lot of confidence.
No
Like,
kidding. Because
I'm getting
if they chose
goosebumps.
the game, well, it's one of those franchises. And how many franchises have been trying to be rebooted, TV shows and everything else, to come out these flops? If we can just get one that's okay, or even just was as good as at least the last one.
Okay, well, here's actually a good segue to mention this. Final Fantasy VII Remake. When the developers were talking about releasing the remake, one of the things that they said was that they wanted to make Final Fantasy more approachable for modern audiences.
Yeah, the new up and comers. Yeah.
As a result, I don't think their sales have been nearly as good as they should be, as if it would have been had they done a traditional turn-based RPG. As Claire Obscure Expedition 33 has proven, turn-based games are something that people want.
Every genre people want. Kind of like people think RTS had died. There just hasn't been a good one. That's the problem.
I think the
It's like
RTS market
anything.
just gets flooded with bad games all the time, so nobody
Well, you're
wants to
not
play
lying
them.
about that. We go through droughts of no real good RTSs, and all of a sudden there's RTSs everywhere.
Yeah, because like I think it was one of the Rockstar devs that left when he started his own studio. Almost every game they were building was an RTS game.
Really?
Yeah, it was like I think it was like one game that was not an RTS game, but it wasn't anything like what you would expect. It was like a
Interesting.
cozy game. It was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, cozy games definitely have their market. Don't get me wrong there.
They do. I'm not their target audience.
Ditto. I won't lie. There's sometimes I wish I could turn on a game and just chill, but I kind of hope I'm kind of hoping that I can find an MMO that does that.
Right?
And the conversation went from there, and it went pretty fast. I think everybody felt, certainly I know the folks we spoke to on the Xbox side felt really strongly that if a studio were to start working on Fable to pick that up, it had to be a British studio.
That's actually
fair.
sound logic. It's a
I
British
was about
game.
to say. Yep. And needs British humor and all that. Yep.
And it needs people that are familiar with the British landscape.
And the lore and their fairy tales.
Yep. And you certainly aren't going to get that out of an American studio, because Americans don't even know American lore and history.
Oh God, I know. But if you look at this picture right here, it kind of looks like something out of a fantasy book, like an illustration.
I want...
No.
There we go. Yeah.
Is it not?
It does. This kind of reminds me of Harry Potter, when they were dealing with the devil's snare.
I agree.
And the fact that we had this great working relationship, the fact that we were making this game, Forza Horizon, that was increasingly important and successful, and had this ambition to scale and to grow, it went pretty fast after that.
That's actually really good to hear.
Did you see that? And I have to agree, and I'm very glad they chose it instead of them being told to. But it looks like, yeah, go
Oh,
back.
it went
Look at the
pretty
magic
fast
right here. It
after
looks like
that.
it's on a cooldown.
That's
I think your
actually,
spells are on a cooldown instead of having a magic or magica bar.
I can live with that. That's how
Looking
Hogwarts
nice.
Legacy is.
Yes, it is. And actually, I kind of like their combat. That's probably
Oh,
where they got it because that looked very familiar.
I
all that
enjoyed
stuff.
the hell out of Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't think I was gonna like it because I heard all kinds of
Ditto.
negative shit about the game before I played it. Then I bought it and played it myself, and I was like, I'm impressed.
Bought it because it was like, ooh, I could be a Slytherin.
They've got a fairly decent wealth of mods too.
Yes, they do. The second one's can be kind of disappointing, in my opinion, from everything I've heard about it.
Yeah,
Another single-player online with a cash shop game.
bummer.
The studio's
Yeah.
adoration for the series shines through in the gameplay it's shown so far. There are hobs and balverines to slay, swords
There
to
are
wield, and
hobs.
spells to cast.
God,
Sure.
I love how weighty that combat
May
looks.
I just say or ask a question? When did health bars go back to being yellow?
That's a good question. I didn't know that. I didn't
Because
even.
if you remember right, old health bars from RPGs were yellow. Well, some games, I should say, like Morrowind. And then red was the adapted. And this has yellow. Like, why are we going back to yellow? I'm curious. Fable never had yellow, did they? Health bars?
I don't think.
they've always been red, if they even showed them.
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say, did Fable ever show health bars? I don't
No,
remember.
I think they just showed boss bars, right? I think they just showed boss bars now I think of it. Like when you're fighting twin blades.
Let's find out. Varied 1. Enemy health bars were not displayed on 1. Enemy health bars were not displayed on 2. And entry notoriously removed heads-up display elements, including player health bars, replacing the regenerating health system where the screen fades red.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, no health
So
bar.
this is
Why
the
did it go
very
yellow?
first game with health bars. That's weird.
And the humor and British charm.
I'm
look
not
to be
against
there.
health bars,
Look,
and it's most likely toggleable. No,
Right.
in modern games, you can probably toggle it on and off for the people that really love that. Like,
Well, I mean, especially as high
before anybody
fidelity as
starts
is.
freaking out, like even the mini map pisses you off nowadays. Yeah, stuff is usually you can turn it off.
Yeah, usually they've got keybinds to turn off UI.
Everything.
no further than a chicken spell wearing off,
Ah!
bringing the target back to
Oh,
their
that's
original
awesome.
form,
I
but
love chicken
still
spell.
flapping their arms and clucking.
And the hob
Or
looks good.
It
Oh my god,
does.
that hob. Ooh, the chicken suit.
He's
their
doing the
original
chicken
form,
dance.
but still flapping their arms and clucking.
The
Or
hob
chicken
actually looks
armor.
really good. Well animated. I love the chicken armor. That looks very well done.
It does. I'm so glad to see that there's a team working on this that actually loves what they're doing.
That could mean, like I said, maybe for once, unless they were told to go with a certain story, this actually could be good.
You even start the game as a child just like you did in the originals. But where Playground is
Yay.
winning serious points with Fable fans like me so far is in its commitment to the game within the game. The town management aspects baked into Fable's urban.
God, that is just so
Yeah, the
pretty.
economy. No, it literally looks like stuff out of like a fantasy novel or a movie.
Damn near could be AI
Like, they're doing
generated.
good. Yeah, honestly.
Areas. You'll be able to buy property, literally all of it, if you can
Yes.
come up with enough gold, apparently, and
Just
become
like
a
Fable 3
beloved
too.
landlord or a
And wood.
loathed slumlord.
Somebody needs to introduce this to the president.
Yeah, right.
He's a real estate man.
Oh god, don't give this to him. He'll freaking own everything and everybody will be homeless. Bad idea. 50-year mortgages, they'll be screwed.
Oh my
Poor people out
gosh.
here.
Not to mention a kind boss or
Man,
a
that's what we're
horrible
trying to
boss.
say, how the political
should
market
you
were
purchase
bad-
any
bad links.
businesses.
That's not even political. That's just an observation about his career.
That's fair. Highly fair.
You can also date and marry all of them, have kids with them, and should it
Woo! Procreation.
Alright.
Make them babies.
Make them. And I love how they have these swords on the back. I'm sorry, you know me, I'm a sucker for that.
Oh yeah, I've always loved seeing gear properly displayed. I know that you can't actually draw a sword from your back, but that's beside the point.
There's this one guy that actually made a sheath for a great sword. It goes on your back. that is realistically something they could have done back in the day, but obviously they didn't because we never found one. But he actually made a sheath for your back,
Huh.
like an
Come to
actual
it,
factual sheath. It works. It's
Did not know
awesome.
that.
get divorced. There are also jobs to partake
I like that actually.
This makes me so happy.
in, like
2 and
blacksmithing,
3 both
where the new
had
Fable
jobs. Love jobs.
Oh man,
I wonder if we'll be able to be bartenders again. I
I'm
loved
so
pouring
glad
beer.
that they're bringing those old job mechanics back. That's perfect.
It'd be really cool if we could chop firewood for ourselves and bring it inside. I
Right?
wonder how, because you know
breaks
me,
from the old
and I know you're the same way. We're in case people don't know, we're sucker for immersions, for immersive.
I like my animation dedication.
Yes, ditto.
I
I'm an
like
animation.
being able to manipulate objects. Tactility is like one of the big things to me in games. A good example of a game that's incredibly tactile, Little Nightmares.
Yeah, honestly, that game, geez, that was a good game.
Gosh,
I've
yes.
yet to play the sequels.
Little Nightmares 2 is worth the play. I highly recommend it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I just play it. Um, Little Nightmares 3, eh.
Dang it, they fell off.
Wrong studio.
They sold it? Little
Uh,
Nightmare sold their studio?
no, they didn't sell the
Or
studio. So what happened was, they didn't own the rights to Little Nightmares. They were just making the game.
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was handed to a different studio, and instead, the studio that made Little Nightmares went and made Reanimal.
God, that sounds familiar. I don't think I
Um,
played it though.
we'll have to do a segment on it at some stage. Reanimal, I've played the demo. It's incredible.
How to take your word for that? Like I said, I haven't played it yet.
Oh yeah, I think you'll enjoy it once you experience it.
old one is in the morality. No longer will it be so black or white, Fulton told me. You won't manifest
Huh?
that halo or sprout those horns.
Oh, no, pause. I'm sorry. We won't get a halo. We won't get horns.
But
Go back. Is that what he said? Is that really what he said? Go
that
back.
is exactly what he said.
Blacksmithing.
Nuh-uh.
Where the new Fable breaks from the old one is in the morality. No longer will it be so black or white, Fulton
No longer will it be black and white.
told me.
Lionhead
You
Studios
won't
literally made a game called Black and White.
You won't manifest that
or
halo or sprout those horns.
Instead, individual people in each city or town will form their own opinion of you based on how you treat them.
So basically, you walk into a town, one person will call you a butthole, and the other person will be like, "Hey, I like you."
I don't like that.
No longer will I have like, I want my horns in Halo.
I want my horns in Halo, yes.
I want my skin at least become corrupted or something like.
Make my eyes red, shit, something.
Yeah, because we're heroes. We're supposed to be. I don't know. That's just messed up.
Oh,
I don't
big
like
sad.
that part so far. That part
Meaning
I am very disappointed with.
You could be a
Same.
rich twat, in Fable's own words,
Well,
while
at least you
getting
can be a rich
hailed
twat.
as a saint in another one.
True.
Better still, one of my least favorite aspects of modern role-playing games, procedurally generated content and all of the generic time-filling tedium it brings with it, is nowhere to be found in Fable. Instead,
Really?
So, handcrafted stories, quests, and content?
So everything is hand placed. There was no generation.
I don't buy it because, why would you generate, or why would you hand carve this entire map when you can generate it and then place your things as you need to?
Even Pavesta has done that for literally ever.
Yeah.
Like everybody got so mad with when Starfield came out because they used some procedural generation. Where if you look up Pavesta, they've always used procedural generation.
Yep. That's literally how they make all their dungeons.
They hand make their dungeons, if I remember right.
They have tools that generate
what they
them.
do is they have the way they say it, they usually have something generate the part of the world, and then they kind of mold the world and stuff around what they want.
Right, but they still use there's they have a build kit for it.
Yeah, the creation engine.
No, a build kit. It's a tool that you use within an engine. So, like, you've got a certain library of assets that your build kit will pull from that are specific to that type of instance that you're creating. So, for
Oh,
example, in
okay. Kind of
Alien
like the
Ruins,
Halo maker, right? Like we could like create a Halo map.
sort of. Okay, so if you were to in Creation Engine, you wanted to build Alien Ruins, and you would set that instance type to Alien, and then the only assets that you would see are things that you would find in Alien Ruins.
Which makes stuff a lot cleaner and easier.
Yes. But that requires a lot of asset library management.
Instead,
I can see that.
Fulton told me that every NPC is a unique, handmade, and fully voiced character. That is so
NPC.
refreshing these days that
What?
it gets me
Every NPC? So they actually took the time to literally mess with every NPC. I
Okay.
don't know if I buy that one either.
Okay, well they said NPC. They didn't say that they didn't generate the map, they didn't say they didn't generate the stories, and they didn't say that they didn't generate the content based off of AI or anything like that. They're just not generating the PC or the NPCs.
Like you, at least, because we've messed around with game development a little bit. Like I would generate at least the base map that I would alter
Yes.
if I was making if I was making open world, because it's easier to do it that way.
One of the things I would like to do, or what I've used Gaia, and it's a really powerful procedural generation tool.
Yeah, I've used Gaia before.
And one of the things that I like about it is that you can set rules so you can only have one city and then a bunch of little hubs.
Yeah, and it's if nothing else, it's good for blueprinting and demoing.
Right, and then you can always strip out, remove, replace, whatever you would have to do.
Exactly.
extra excited to talk to as many of them as I possibly can once I get a build of Fable in my hands.
Now, are they gonna give each character unique dialogue? If that's the case, I do not know how they could ever possibly do that, because if each town had 1,000, he said 1,000 NPCs, and let's say there's only 3 towns, that's 3,000 NPCs.
Oh no, the
3,000
whole game
voice
has
dialogue.
1,000 NPCs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be insane if they were like, okay, we're going to triple our
You'd have
workload.
the voice though.
Well, yeah, you've got 3,000 or 1,000 voices. That means that's 1,000 separate voice identities. That's let's see, you got to think, what's the average voice packet file for something like that in a video game? Pretty big.
I guess it kind of depends on. From what we've seen so far, I don't think there's a lot of choices, so it'll just be like hums and oh and dick and probably stuff like that, short little things.
Potentially.
We would probably only see like the huge, if they're gonna have a huge nice little chat box. We would only see that probably with storytelling NPCs or NPCs of importance.
Only time will tell, I reckon.
That goal to make
Amen.
each hero's story unique extends to the larger world of Albion too. Remember the 2023 Fable teaser that introduced us to Dave?
This guy, in particular, gives me fatigue.
Oh?
There was a long while he was just in everything. I don't even know his name.
Kind of when those people blew up. I don't know who.
Yeah, he's like another one of those Pedro Pascal types.
Oh God, yeah, or Baron Goggins right now.
Yeah,
he's in freaking everything.
It turns out that the whole setup for the new Fable isn't a Jack and the Beanstalk story. Instead, Dave is, quote, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who finds a magic growth formula. So you'll then have to decide how to deal with him. Will you spare him? Hopefully this means finding a way to return him to normal size and befriending him, or slay him, which will see his giga corpse splayed over a hill just outside of town for the rest of your campaign.
I know what I'm going to be doing.
Right, I'm slaying him.
I'm going to be climbing me a dead body.
Negatively impacting surrounding home
does it
prices
decay?
in the process.
Does it decay?
Negatively impacting prices. Yeah, that actually makes sense.
Let's back that up a wee bit.
Corpse.
This means finding a way to return him to normal size and befriending him, or slay him, which will see his Giga corpse splayed over a hill
Okay.
just outside of town for the rest of your campaign, negatively impacting surrounding home prices in the
Right.
process. And so if Dave's foray into gigantism is merely a quest, perhaps that means this Fable isn't as
Okay,
much
so he
of a
didn't say anything
departure
about
from
him
the
rotting.
originals lore-wise as that video had led me to
Sadly.
believe. In fact, I point
Yeah, I
blank
have to agree with
asked
this guy.
Fulton
Honestly, I
whether or
thought the whole story was kind of going to be about the giant, but it's nice to see that that was only a part.
Yeah, that is definitely especially hearing that he accidentally took a, yeah, that makes the story better already.
It sounds Fably too.
Yeah, it does.
not
I
this
I
is a
wonder if the Norman Nomicron is going to make a return in the quest. Please.
Potentially.
true reboot, or if this Fable is in some way connected to Lionhead's originals, and he had quite a telling answer for a supposed non-answer. He told me, quote, "I'm going to avoid that question, Ryan, and I'll tell you why. We touch very lightly on story in the Dev Direct piece, but honestly, what we really wanted to do is come out and speak to the detail in the game and answer all those questions that people inevitably have about the game we haven't answered before. We're going to talk more about story later in the year, so I'm not going to say yes or no to that particular question just yet. What I would say is with this being a reboot, it felt really imperative for us to clear the space to tell a story that we want to tell within Albion, which is why this isn't a sequel, for example. This isn't necessarily connected to the original timeline or events or characters, but we do share lore, and some of that originating lore of the Fable universe is really important to our story. Make a
Yeah, hit pause.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually really good to hear.
Once again, the only reason I'm also saying this, because usually it'd be like, oh, you disrespect the characters, but once again, in Fable, in the lore in general, like I said, the Spiral, we already know we can restart an entire, recreate Albion. We already know that's a thing. And then, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, Albion has been remade a whole again. What means,
Canonically,
new
yes, you
legends, new
have to in one.
monsters. Do you reset the world in one?
I'm pretty sure you do, yeah.
I don't think so, because you kill Jack of Blades, then you go to the north
Or
in
is
the
it
DLC,
or is it two that I'm thinking
and
of?
then you fight him again as a
One
dragon.
of the
But
games that you there's a reset, not just talking about it, but actually doing it. Or am I imagining things?
I'm pretty sure that's Fable 2.
Okay, so that might be why it stood out so much.
Because if you remember, you get to make a decision. Wait, do you get to reset it? That one? Dang.
I'm gonna have to go back and play Fable 2 again as somehow.
And I could be wrong here, but in Fable 3 in the DLC, I think the Spire lives. I think the Spire is still around in 3, what means it could have actually technically been used. There's gonna be a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of people down there, correcting us. So you
It's
can
all
find out
right.
more down below.
Yep, we'll take a look through your comments. Please do comment below. Give us the engagement. We need it.
Yes, like and subscribe, comment,
All of that
tell
good
us what we did
stuff.
right, tell us what we did wrong.
Please,
Sorry,
and
I'm
if
sick of
there's anything that we
nasally.
can improve upon other than the audio quality, that's something that's going to take time.
Now we're trying to make these authentic as possible as well. Trying to not do like too many cuts and just be raw with it.
Yeah. If you would like to see us change that a little bit, let us know. But we are, for the time being, going to continue as we have. All right. Let's continue the video.
that what you will.
My big concern.
So Fable seems to have the look, the humor, the moral choices, the quintessentially British charm. Playground, to put it simply, seems to understand the assignment here. And the studio, as I mentioned earlier, absolutely gets the benefit of the doubt from me on account of its impeccable track record since
Yes,
I
they,
saw a fat character, and that makes me happy because in Fable, 1, 2, and 3, if you ate enough,
you could
got
get fat. Yes, that is
Yes.
true.
So I'm glad to see that's probably returning.
Good. No, I am glad that Playground Games has it because if there's a studio that could succeed with it, it's these guys.
Amen. And I really hope we have demon doors.
Oh yeah.
They have not mentioned them yet that I've saw.
Well, I wouldn't imagine them to go into those kinds of details.
Yeah.
since its inception. What then am I worried about? There is one thing, and it's a key part of Fable: combat. To be clear, I'm not in any way judging Fable's combat based on what we've seen so far. How could I? I haven't played it for myself yet. However,
It
for
looks
as
good.
talented as Playground is, it's never made a game with combat before.
But it already looks
Hit
better than
pause.
most combat.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the only thing that really made Fable's combat so unique or even feel good, because it was pretty much just hit button, is because they had a whole bunch of ifs put in, like a
Yes.
state machine. Like if a NPC, for example, was close to a staircase, something might stick his sword into the staircase for a minute and
Right?
stuff like that. So it was, the combat itself was simple. It was more like how the animations and worked in the what ifs, the state machine. And honestly, what I see here already looks better than all of them so far.
Well, yeah, because this
One
combat has
combat
weight.
really sucked. Am I wrong? Because I don't know if you ever played the Lost Chapters, but when you're sitting there smacking an enemy with the literally the Jack of Blades sword, I forgot what the sword's called. I'm sorry.
I mean,
It might just be called Jack of Blades. But anyway, when you're beating someone, a wyvern, over 100 times with it, and it's not dead, and you put everything into strength, there's something wrong.
yeah. Balance is a key thing when it comes to these kinds of games.
It's not that all of the delightful town management and
Uh.
NPC relationship stuff suddenly means nothing if the combat doesn't deliver, but Fable will have a big problem if
Ooh, I
battling
love that.
Valvoline
Whatever
isn't
that
a
is, that is beautiful.
We do have to get through the rest of this video really quick, though.
Okay.
blast. Oh, and I suppose I'll be honest and share one actual disappointment with what I've seen of Fable so far. The fact that horses seem to be your only four-legged companions. After the big reveal was decidedly dog-free, I asked Fulton about the decision to ditch the dog, and
It's a good decision. If you have a choice between a dog and a mount, then I would choose the mount.
Yeah, it's not like they can't add that in later with an update or something.
Right?
Or
he
maybe they just didn't want to reveal it yet.
Right?
admitted, quote, "There are some folks on the team that were relishing me getting this question because I cut it a while back. You know what? For development reasons, right?
That's
I
fair.
don't need to go into any more detail than that, except to say there are a substantial number of people on the team who have yet to forgive me for that decision."
Which is,
Now,
it's...
I know full well
I can understand why you cut it if it's choosing what needs to be in the game versus what you would like to have in the
And
game.
what time you have too.
Yeah, it's all about developer resources, and sometimes when you're managing a team like that, you have to cut things that your team might want to put in the game.
And by the way, that does not scratch it out. Once again, if the game does well,
They could
it
do a
will come in the
DLC.
DLC. I almost guarantee a dog will come. You know, I'm marking it right now. I'm going to prophesize it. If this game actually sells well and it doesn't shut down the studio and people are actually praising and happy with it, it will get dog.
You're hearing it from Nox first, y'all.
Yep,
Dog's
you will get
confirmed.
dog. Dog is confirmed.
that game
Maybe even
development
cat.
is extremely
Maybe even
difficult, and that
cats.
Fulton probably has a very defensible reason for not moving forward with Fable 2's signature feature. It stung a little extra when he told me that Fable 2 was his favorite of Lionhead's original.
So he's in... Oh my
That's
gosh.
so many people, though. Dude, talk to any Fable fan. It's 2.
Everybody
I
liked
know I
2.
said 3, but yeah, 2 really is where it was at.
trilogy, but as a player, I'm still allowed to be bummed out by it.
Agreed.
Here's hoping it's first on the new features list for the sequel, should we get
I
that
do like
far.
how the combat looks.
It does look really good.
On the whole, though, I am truly, genuinely excited and optimistic about the new Fable. I've long felt that, particularly in Playground's hands,
See,
Fable
like, that
has
looks
the
good.
highest
It
ceiling
does.
in terms of game quality and finally delivering Xbox and, I guess, PlayStation, as it turns out, a PlayStation Studios-like Game of the Year award
And I'm loving
contending
the
single-player
twirls.
game.
See,
Just
like, it
send him
looks
flying.
Currently in Microsoft's
Oh god, the mushroom forest.
Yes, I'm a sucker for mushrooms. Morrowind.
massive
One of the reasons I
first-party
love
games
that game.
portfolio.
The
And
aesthetics.
though we don't yet have
Okay.
a specific release date to count down to, Playground is promising that we'll be playing it this fall, which basically means before November, since it would be patently stupid to try and relaunch this franchise after the better part of a decade in development, right up against the...
I gotta say something.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very, very difficult year for gamers.
I say that.
We've got Fable, we've got Grand Theft Auto 6, we've got Squadron
Maybe.
42. No, not maybe. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be coming out this fall. It'll happen.
Sure, it won't push it back again.
Yep. Because they don't want to push it back. They
You're
want to
gonna
be
have
able to say
people
they
choose
released it.
between Fable. So everybody's gonna be happy. If you want a modern day game, you got Grand Theft Auto. If you want a space game, you got Squadron 42. If you want fantasy, you got Fable. But at the same time, that gamers like all of them usually.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. All of these audiences overlap. So either
Yes.
gamers are going to need to shell out some significant cash, or some of these games are going to struggle.
Or there may be, hold on, and this does happen sometimes, a developer will not release the game and actually push it back, not because it's not ready yet, because it will kill the window.
Well,
It's happened a few times.
I'll tell you that Squadron 42 is not delaying, and they're also not going to move their release date. They're releasing when they're releasing.
Well, I didn't say anything.
They
about
have
that.
to. They don't have a choice. They've got to do it this year. They don't. They literally do not have a choice.
Honestly, any game that's releasing around Grand Theft Auto 6, especially in the fall, since that's when it's releasing, bad idea.
Yep. Well, I expect them to release Squadron 42 around October. So maybe about a month before Grand Theft Auto 6. So that'll give them about a month of airtime.
Let's hope so, because it will be washed up in YouTube and everything else. With
Oh, yeah.
nothing but Grand Theft Auto 6, unfortunately, and that's what's going to kill
100%.
Fable too.
Yeah, that's where I'm
That's
wondering.
bad. Oh
'Cause
my god!
Fable and Grand Theft Auto 6 are probably more likely to overlap.
You ever heard of a little game called Reckoning Kingdom?
Amalur?
Yeah.
I have it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of the
only reason
games
that
that
game was bad because when did it release? Around Skyrim.
2012, yeah. Was it earlier than that?
It was. No, it was. I forgot when Skyrim was released. 2010.
Skyrim original release date. I gotta know. They've released it so many times.
I know, it's hard to say.
November 11,
How much-
2011. Okay, so I was a year off.
Okay, and I was a year off too. How about that?
The incoming game industry meteor known as Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that the new Fable lives up to its sky-high potential.
I think it will. I think it has chance. A higher than zero chance of succeeding.
Being released right there by Grand Theft Auto 6, though. Oof.
Yeah. Well, that was our interesting Fable segment for the day.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Verdict? Yes, no, maybe?
I would play it, but if it's going against Grand Theft Auto 6, I feel like it's going to be washed up, or, I feel like it's going to be tidal waved by Grand Theft Auto 6.
See, I may have a slightly different perspective. I think that if a game has a strong enough merit, it can succeed even in the midst of the popularity of Grand Theft Auto 6. I know that a lot of games do tend to get drowned out by the media when it comes to a big title like this because it's been in development for so long. But I really do think that if a game is good enough, it will shine its own light.
Oh no, it will over time, but the problem is a studio, since they put so much money and time into it, if they don't get a whole bunch in the first month or so, well, then we have high guard.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this segment. We're going to move on and look at something else.
All right, we'll see you guys.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for tuning in to Mixed Signals, broadcasting across space, time, and questionable Wi-Fi from the planet Florbus.
If you enjoyed the chaos, the theories, and the occasional intelligent thought, make sure you follow the show and share it with someone whose signal is just as scrambled as yours.
And don't forget,
I'm Nox.
I'm Lynx.
and we are transmitting even more mixed signals on YouTube, where we continue our mission of confusing the galaxy one video at a time.
Until next time, keep your antenna up, your frequency open, and remember,
If the signal seems mixed, you're probably receiving the right broadcast.
see you next transmission.